Today, I am honored to introduce Jon Kovach Jr. Jon is an award-winning and international motivational speaker, a 14 times national #1 best-selling author, and global masterminds leader. He has helped thousands of professionals overcome their challenges and achieve their goals through his irrefutable laws of high performance. Jon, welcome to the show.
Lauren, it's so great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm excited to just share and pour into your audience because someone somewhere out there has a goal and
Amen.
we all want to achieve our goals. So thank you for having me.
Of course, it's wonderful to have you. To start, tell us a bit more about you. What's your story?
Well, how far do we go back?
Right.
Because it begins with conception, but I came into this world as an incredibly attention deficit disordered kid. That's right, ADHD. But it actually has become one of my superpowers over the years because it has led me this far. At the young age of 34 years old, I've lived multiple lives. And the reason why is I just never stop. The foot is never off the gas pedal. And just a little bit of background about myself. I'm just a simple human being from northern Colorado. Grew up there. I was actually born in LA, but my parents trekked us out to the mountains. And I got a lot of opportunities growing up to learn, to ask questions, and to grow. And one of my favorite things about entrepreneurism is to learn to fail, because learning to fail and fail fast and fail hard, fail forward has become really the success of my story. Just a little bit of background. At age 12, my mom needed to provide a second or a third source of income to our family so that we could do normal things as the other kids were going on vacations and doing fun things during spring breaks. And we just didn't have the funds to do that. So we had to save up as a family. So I teamed up with my mom. She wanted to do a little bit of a side hustle gig. And we actually created this vending machine business where we were buying bulk quality snacks and food items, and we would deliver them to these office places. And I learned a lot about just creating a business and managing inventory and so forth, all at the age of 12. Well, that carried into the new coming years, and I learned at age 14 that I could do business on my own. And so I did what every 14-year-old young man does, and I run up and down the streets of the neighborhood and I demand that I mow their lawns. And so we've started a lawn mowing business. And then at age 16, I realized that I could get a little bit more technical with my skill sets. And so I really needed to solve a problem. At age 16, there's only one thing that mattered to me in life, and that was that the dances at the school were amazing. But we lived in a farm town in Colorado. The DJs weren't that great, and I loathed going to these dances because they were terrible. So I took it in my own hands. I asked my parents, I said, hey, I've saved up all my money. Can I buy some DJ equipment and just give a shot at this? And they said, as long as you do it right. A few months later, I accidentally, by product of my problem solving, put a few local DJs out of business because I now had all the proms, all the school dances. I even had some of the private Catholic school conferences. I was doing weddings. I was doing birthday parties. My favorite one was a 90-year-old's birthday party. It was so much fun. But I learned in this process that it wasn't DJing, it wasn't lawn mowing, it wasn't vending machines, it wasn't all of these crazy cool ideas that I loved the most. What I loved the most was being behind that microphone and being an MC, curating an environment for success, allowing the wallflowers to feel comfortable in their own skin, to take the dance floor and have a good time and build these relationships amongst people. And that became my passion for speaking. That became my passion for reaching people through leadership, through coaching, through mentorship, and so many other things. So that literally was the beginning of who really I was. And amongst all of that, I was an athlete. I was a college scholarship athlete. I did so many other things, but that's one angle of my life. And to wrap the story up, it's really what I've been most passionate about, is using my voice to curate an environment to help people have success. And if you hear my story, you'll say, wow, yeah, he's done a lot. But the purpose of me telling that isn't to say that, hey, I've done a lot. The purpose of me sharing that is to let people know that you really are capable of so much more if you allow yourself to. And as you do allow yourself to say yes to so many incredible things, in there you will find your greatest passions, your greatest strengths, and the ability that you have in you to make the biggest difference in the world.
Yeah, I love hearing your story. And what I want to highlight is there's not just one path to find your passion or your ultimate calling. And look at you, you did so many different things you never probably would have expected, wanting to be a DJ leading to you being an international speaker.
That's right. Yeah, it's been quite the journey, and it hasn't stopped. I mean, yes, I'm speaking. Yes, I'm podcasting. Yes, I'm leading. I'm still doing a little MC work. Somebody highly requested me as the DJ for their wedding this summer, and I said I sold my equipment. I don't do that anymore. But because you're paying, yes, I will do it. I'll show up for you. But it continues to grow as you seek new avenues, and I have had some really incredible opportunities to serve people in different capacities. But at the end of the day, and at my core, my mission and my focus and goal has been to serve others through what I've now discovered in one of my favorite all-time books. And it is
Ooh.
this book called Think and Grow Rich. And we'll talk
Oh,
about it later.
we're gonna get into that.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I think I just want to hone in on like what was it exactly that got you into personal development and self-mastery specifically?
Yeah. Honestly, I can actually date it back. There was a dance. It was actually like it was a prom. And I remember seeing all of the couples out there dancing. And as the MC, I was like, how do I get more people involved? How do I make this experience incredibly memorable for everybody? And so I left the DJ stand. I just left it on autopilot, walked away, and I left the microphone up there, and I started shaking hands and saying hello and introducing myself to as many people as I could, including chaperones, because they all looked like kids to me. I didn't really know. And my entire goal and focus was to ask them what would make the best experience for each of them. And in that moment, I recognized that I can use my voice and my connection with people to really solve problems. And so this was the motivating drive for me to say, you know what? I wasn't just getting them to dance. It wasn't just getting them to have a good time, but it was literally motivating them, putting some spark in their hearts so that they could say, yeah, I could take some action. Yeah, I'd be happy to take these brand new shoes and this tuxedo out to the dance floor and do some great things. And that led to me saying, well, what else can I do? Because one of the stories I haven't told, and we don't really have a lot of time to go over my entire life, but as an athlete in college, I had a dream and I had a goal, and one of those dreams was the Olympics. Cut to the chase, I never made it to the Olympics, but it was a major transition in my life where I decided to transmute the physical energy I was experiencing in performing at the highest level and convert it into the ability to use my brain, my mind, my knowledge, and my ability to speak to people. And to this day, I'm literally standing. I'm not in a desk. I'm standing
Wow, you're
because I
standing.
have to because of the ADHD energy,
Yeah.
but I have to convert that physical performance energy
Mm,
into my ability to communicate and connect.
mm,
And it goes back to that day as a 16, 17-year-old kid
mm.
who wanted to solve problems. So
Wow.
personal development just it derived from my connection and that light bulb going off saying, wow, this isn't as hard as I've made it out to be, or that everyone makes it out to be. It's
Mhm,
so easy to build connections and to lead people down a path
mm.
to achieving goals.
Yeah. So, what are some tips you have for individuals looking to self-actualize or become the best version of themselves?
Oh man, number one is wake up on the right side of the bed. I know. We can't always control that, but in our power, we can do as much as we can. And
Mhm.
by the way, waking up on the right side of the bed is a choice. Every morning I wake up, I am greeted by the wet kisses of my little dog. And he jumps up on my chest and he's got claws and he just like pushes into me and he's so excited. And anyone could say that is like, no, and rip the covers over and try to stay underneath. And really what is I guess come of that moment every single morning is the laughter, the excitement, and the smiles that I just choose to decide that today's going to be amazing. That's step number one. People need to learn to wake up on the right side of the bed, and you get to have a choice. It comes with the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Is it laughter? Is it excitement? Or is it, right? And you can choose that. And there have been days after hard workouts or really, really tough physical days where you don't feel amazing, but yet you can still make it amazing. That's number one. If I were to share a couple other things too, is I always tell people that you need to learn every day. And learn for me is an acronym, and I'll go through those real quick. L stands for listen. Listen to positive audios, things that are going to uplift you and get you where you need to go. Do not listen to the news. Do not listen to things that are negative. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for most. E stands for engage. Engage with only positive people. The best positive person in my life every day is the one who wants to wrestle with me at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, and that's my dog. So I always have an engaging experience, but I also surround myself with positive people like you, Lauren, and people who really uplift my life. A stands for action through accountability, and that is following up with my partners, those people who I work with, the people who are going to hold me straight. R stands for read quality, whether it's books, read 10 words, read 10 pages, read 10 chapters. I have to read every single day, and it has to be stuff that's uplifting me and it's in congruence with where I'm going and what I want to learn. And then the last is nurture. N stands for nurture, and that includes nurture your mind, body, and soul. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself every single day. I have to go on a walk or a run, or I need to go to the gym, or I need to eat right, or I need to do something to give myself the physical sustainability. And then for my spiritual, I do whatever I can in those moments to take it all in, to breathe, meditate, do all of the right things. But nurturing who I am will only give me firepower for what I'm doing. So those are a few tips that I would highly recommend. Wake up on the right side of the bed, learn every day. It'll be an absolute game changer.
I love that learn. That's going to stick with me. And also imagining this puppy energy. I think the world would be such a much better place if we could all embody that energy, that excitement that a puppy has when seeing you for the first time, or, after you've been away for a couple hours. If we could greet people like that and approach life like that, the world would be a much better place.
Brilliant. I think, I have a little microphone here.
Yeah.
That's the mic drop moment.
No, mic drop.
We need more of that puppy energy in our life. They're so excited to see us no matter
what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, many of us have these big dreams. What do you think it is that gets in the way or holds people back from going after or achieving their dreams?
Yeah. I'll tell from personal experience. When I was a kid, I wanted to become an Olympic athlete. And that dream started from when I watched the Olympics, and I saw these guys and gals on television running around the Olympic Stadium. And I just remember thinking and envisioning myself in their shoes. And I even ran upstairs. I went through my brother's and my sister's drawers, and I found the closest thing I could to what looked like what they were wearing on the television. And it happened to be my older sister's nightie gown. And I put that on. It was silky. It was tight. It was like, oh yeah. And then I started running around the neighborhood saying, I'm going to win. I'm going to be an all-star. I'm going to be an Olympic athlete. And while my dad looked out the window in total concern for his son, everyone else thought it was so cute and adorable. But that belief never changed. I had always created what I call the gold medal standard. I always have a standard of excellence. And every day I rise knowing that every day is going to be the greatest day of my life, because I know that it can be, and that I hold myself to that standard. I never, ever settle for mediocrity. And that's my standard. That's my goal. And I think that what people do is they lose sight of their mission, their vision. They lose sight of what they want. They actually they allow life to get in the way, and that takes up their goals, their dreams, their visions. And our visions get so cloudy. How many times a day do I review my calendar? Probably after this call, I'll review it 2 more times. And then after an hour or so, I'll review my calendar again. I need to be consistently reviewing my goals and my aspirations of each day so that I stay within the clarity spectrum of what I'm doing. And believe me, guys, if I didn't do that, ADHD would take over and I would already be climbing up the tree after the squirrel, because it's just how we operate as humans. But clarity is necessary for everything that you're doing. And the more you can repeat and remind and recycle all of those in your mind, you will stay on track. You'll never lose sight of your vision. And if you're one of those people who haven't quite found your vision, that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, too, continue to pursue what you want, and you'll find what you want even more. So that's my advice to that question.
Super helpful. Thank you. And in regard to getting unstuck so that we can go after our dreams, can you tell us how to get unstuck through Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich principles to accelerate your results?
Well, thank you. I love this question and I appreciate that. I always carry a copy of Think and Grow Rich with me. The famous Bob Proctor used to do the same. So if anything, even if you don't read it, take it everywhere with you. It's something that I have learned over the years. But getting unstuck, you have to get stuck in the first place. And what happens when we live our daily lives, we allow things into our lives that clutter up and gunk up our chain. If you're thinking of a bicycle, right? All bicycles have a chain, and that chain gets dirty. And if it gets cluttered and gunky, then it becomes more difficult for us to pedal or for us to move forward. That imagery should allow you to see that your life is the exact same thing. Every little chain needs its own attention. Everything needs a good little amount of oil or a little bit of cleaning, and you need to do so regularly. So to get unstuck, you just have to put yourself in the right place and in the right environments to take care of your chain. And what that means is, for yourself, do what you need to do or put yourself in the places and environments that give you the best results. For me, I know exactly what I need. And here's the advice I would give. Hopefully with the power of technology and AI and all these things, that we will not lose the art of handwriting, because we need to learn to take a physical pen and learn to write things down. In fact, get very comfortable with writing things every single day, because the more you write and physically write things into existence, it becomes something more than you anticipated. All this typing that we do on a daily basis is very effective and efficient, but it's not necessarily doing what we want it to do in the effect that writing does for us. So writing things down is very, very important. I've filled like 3 planners out in the last month because
I'm a big writer.
Writing, journaling, expression, thank you notes, all of those things go into creating and writing. And I don't know if someone's probably already said this before, but I call it writing into existence. You write things down that give you what you need. So getting unstuck is all about putting yourself in the right environment and writing things into existence. Once you write it, psychologically, your brain says, that's real. It's tangible. I can touch it. I can see it. I can smell it. I can lick it if I want to. I can hold it. And all of that becomes a physical thing. And if you can read it, then you can breed it. Does that make sense? If you can read it, you can breed it. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I promise you, if you bring things to existence by writing them down, you will find that those daily manifestations and the power of affirmations can truly get you unstuck. I know I've spoken a lot on stage about my experience as a caving instructor. Yes, I've done it all, I know. But as a caving instructor, I was leading a team through this cave, and we had to pass through what's called the wormhole. The wormhole is a 50-foot gap. It is literally a small lava tube that you have to put one arm down on your side and one arm forward. And yes, you're wearing hard hats with light bulbs. Okay. And you have to wiggle like a worm through this gap to get to the next cavern. And as the leader of this group, I got stuck. That's the first person, which means there are 6 people in the tube stuck behind me waiting to get out. And to get unstuck, you have to do a few things. You have to work at every angle. To put yourself in the right environment for success, you need to be able to take care of everything. You need clarity. You need to be able to see, feel, smell, and experience everything around you so that you know what you need to do next. And then fearlessly, you need to write it into existence. I told myself that day I was not going to get stuck, and I was not going to get left in a cave, and I was not going to cause my team to go through emergency standards. So I found every single will and way to make it happen. Yes, maybe a bloodied up knee and maybe some bruises, but I was able to do so. And when I did it, I then had the experience to turn around and help others. And that's the story I love telling about caving. But getting unstuck is all about your environment and your will to win.
How long did it take you to get unstuck?
No one's ever asked me that, Lauren. The story I tell is about a 15-minute freak out story. And it did take me approximately 15 minutes to get unstuck. I was communicating with the team and letting them know that I was trying different maneuvers. In my mind, I was communicating very, very professionally and saying, all right, let me try this. But in my mind, like in my heart, I probably sounded like a squealing boy on the playground because I was terrified. And not to mention that, but I was stuck. My body was expanding, which made things tighter. But I also was aware of the presence of local cave creatures that scared the bejesus out of me. So I made it happen no matter what. I willed through it, and to this day, I'll never forget how I made it happen.
Well, hats off to you. I'm so glad you survived.
Me too. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Let's talk about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. How does one do this?
Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yes, these are great questions. For me, I always tend to go back to my athletic days because those were so profoundly impactful for me. I actually just spoke on a stage this morning, and I shared a story about the time I fell in a practice. So I had the opportunity as a young athlete to run with the big dogs. I got to be the only freshman on the team that ran with the varsity team. And to experience that was such an experience. But I was treated like the freshman. And what that meant is I was always yelled at. I was always the brunt of every joke. I was always the one carrying bags. And I was the one arriving early and staying late at every practice. But what this allowed me to do was to put in the hard work so that when I became a senior, that I was breaking records, that I was turning heads, that I was in headlines in newspapers, and there were things that were happening because of the work I put in. Mm-hmm. So being comfortable with the uncomfortable is, even if you know or think or fear that you might pass out, you do it anyways, because the amazing things come when you push yourself a little bit further. As the freshman, my coach would always yell at me. I didn't have a name. It was freshman. Just yell at freshman, do 5 more. And everyone else would be heading to the showers or heading to the locker room. And I would do 5 more laps, 5 more push-ups, 5 more pull-ups, 5 more sit-ups, whatever it is. And whenever I thought I had done my max, he would say, freshman, do 5 more. And I would say, okay, this is abuse, but I didn't know I could do it until I did it. Yeah. And I always tell some stories about my past where my family's been, my family's been hiking the Wind River Mountain Range found in Wyoming for 75 years. And I, as an 8-year-old, got to experience this family tradition of hiking up into the mountains to go fishing at these lakes that my family's been fishing at for so many decades. And this is the most grueling hike. The first 2 miles are uphill. And every year I'm reminded of how out of shape I really am and how much the mountain can really kick my butt into shape. But again, if you put one step forward, even though you're in pain, that's one more step that you didn't put in before, thinking, analyzing, and overdoing every other aspect of the brain psychology of what you were doing in the past. Instead, if you can just, even though it hurts, even though it's painful, even though it's uncomfortable, if you know that if I put one more foot forward, that's one more step, one more foot, one more inch that I didn't have before for success. And that is something that a lot of people dismiss in the process of success, is just get comfortable with the fact that things are not going to be great. If it is great, you're probably doing the wrong thing, or you're in the wrong room. They always say, Lauren, don't be the smartest person in the room, right? It's the same application. If you are the best in every room, you're in the wrong room, because you need to surround yourself with people who will challenge you.
Those uncomfortable moments are where the growth lies, and in line with just do it anyway, or just one more, and surrounding yourself by individuals who are going to push you, or who are more intelligent than you, or who have more experience than you. I want to relate this concept of masterminds, because we're part of one of the same mastermind groups called Habitude Warrior, where you're the mastermind team leader and facilitator. Talk to us about this concept of a mastermind for those who aren't as familiar.
This is my life and mission and passion. I love masterminds. And for people who don't know what a mastermind is, I'll just pull it right out of the book here. Mastermind is a collective group of one or more people who come together with the spirit of harmony to find and to achieve a definite purpose. And that word definite is an emphasis for me, because definite means something that is actual, tangible, achievable. Now, some people would say, be realistic and do things that can actually be done. And what we really mean by definite is to do things that have potential outcome. And no matter what that is, if you write it, if you dream it, you can achieve it. But Napoleon Hill talks about this concept of masterminding. And when you put yourself in a room, in an environment where other people are there to help you succeed, and you put your minds together, one mind is so powerful in and of itself. The human brain and all of its connectivity and all the frequencies and all of the signals that it's sending to the body and to other people, and its outward existential reactions to those things, is phenomenal. We will never understand the full complexity of our bodies and the brain, but just know that it's a network that never stops. And when you take that network and you put it together with another network, you have now accessed, tapped into, and opened up Pandora's box of potential. And Napoleon Hill calls it infinite intelligence. So to be definite in your results and access infinite intelligence between two minds or more, what could you not achieve? What is not attainable? And literally, the only thing that's not attainable is the thing that you added into your brain that wasn't unattainable. That's all that is between you and success. And this is why I love masterminds, because it is so simple, but yet so profound in its application. And people have been masterminding since the day of Neanderthals to the day of building the United States of America and writing the Declaration of Independence, to those who have overcome worldwide calamities and challenges, and some of the greatest writers and performers of our time. Masterminds have been used. This methodology, this modality of success has been used, and it's so simple, and we can all use it.
Such an incredible way to expand your level of awareness, your thought process, and just to learn from other people and mentors that are of interest to you. And another way to do this is through reading. So I'm curious what book recommendation or recommendations you have for our listeners to get started on the path to personal development. I know one that you're going to say first that you're probably holding on to.
Of course, I will always say Think and Grow Rich. But importantly, the reason is why. It's not about getting rich. It's about thinking and growing in that mindset so that you can not only accept and obtain wealth and riches, but because it'll change your life in so many different ways. There's more to riches than money and monetary gain. There's so much more. And when you have those puppy dog moments and wake up and you are so rich of happiness, laughter, and love every single day, that is a mindset. That is not of possession. That is not of something that you have. It is a complete decision and mindset that you make on a daily basis. So the next time you stub your toe, are you grateful for that stub, or are you absolutely loathing and writhing and cursing the world? You have to change your mindset about everything. Another book I highly recommend in succession with this happens to be a book that we've written. It's called The 13 Steps to Riches, which is based on the principles of Think and Grow Rich. And we actually wrote this in 13 volumes. You can pick up any one of the volumes. All 13 steps include the various topics found within his teachings. And we do a deep dive on each one of those concepts. But really what they do is they're a wealth of education and knowledge on helping you acquire the skill sets ready to help you become a better thinker, a more think and grow rich type thinker. And then last is a book I'm reading right now. I read it every year, and it's also by Napoleon Hill. I have
You're loyal.
no favoritism. I just figured out what my passion, niche, and connection is. But this book was written and was never published in his day because the manuscript scared his wife so much that they feared their damnation if it was released. And the book is called Outwitting the Devil. And it's it's more of a discussion on what the power of fear can do to create us into either drifters or non-drifters. And 98% of the world are currently under this realm of drifting, allowing life to operate for them. And instead, you can take control of your life and be a non-drifter. And those who are awake and have come to themselves and have recognized where they're at, they understand that fear has been the ultimate guider to their decision making. And when you release that fear, when you overcome that fear, and fear is a necessary process of success, everybody. Don't get me wrong. You can't eliminate fear, but when you know how to battle it, outwit it, and overcome it, that is when you have found the success paths of accelerated and exponential growth in your entire life. And hands down, love those books.
You got to learn how to dance with the fear.
Agreed. Oh, I love that. I love that phrase. Learn to dance with the fear.
Yeah.
I love that.
What advice do you give to the youngsters or the ones just starting out on this path?
Oh, from one ADHD to a world that's realizing that we all have it in ourselves, is that try it all. Literally try it all. And if I didn't have such supportive parents, a mom who believed in every area of my life could be a success and that I was the best as long as I put my mind to it, I don't know if I would have had this mindset. But really, I tell the youngsters, try it all, because you need to learn as soon as possible. Really, there is no timeline. Just birth and death is the only time you have. There is no timeline, but the faster you find what it is that you truly love, and don't be anxious about finding it. You could find it at age 98 and pass away in age 99. Doesn't matter. But as soon as you find it, life takes on a whole new meaning. And so try it all. I'll share one last quick story on that is, when I first found out that I had the diagnosis of ADHD, it sat with me for a minute, and maybe I took 2 minutes on this because I tried to define it. It means attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And I believe in a higher power, and I believe that higher power did not create me as a deficit or a disorder. And that's just my belief system. I know there's medical terms. I know there's a whole hierarchy to this name calling and distinction process. But I believe that I am not a deficit or a disorder. And I believe that you and anyone listening here is not that at all. And no matter what society deems of you, that's not what you were created to do. In fact, I believe that you were created to be that, which is a creator. And as a creator, you have all power. You have all abilities. Everything is already inside of you. You just need to take the necessary steps to do so. And like I said in the mastermind concept, when you combine one brilliance with another brilliance, boy, do you create infinite accessibility. And that is the power of what we all have. So youngsters, try it all.
I love that. Try it all. Jon, what's next for you?
Oh, man. Well, I am doing a TED Talk soon. I've been on Amazon Prime TV's Speak Up, looking for incredible opportunities to speak more on stage. through our mutual connection, the amazing Mr. Awesome Eric Swanson and the Habitude Warrior Masterminds and his Speaker Hearts speaking tour. We're going to be taking Speaker Hearts, which is all about speaking from the heart. And it's backed by a cancer initiative where we're using our heart to help and serve the cancer, those diagnosed with cancer community. We'll be taking that city to city. We're looking at Salt Lake City this year. We're looking at San Diego. We're looking at what is it called? San Juan, Puerto Rico, and a few more cities. And we're taking it to the next cities. So next on the agenda is reaching more people through physical speaking events and doing it in the right way. And these small but intimate environments are going to allow people to truly find transformation and inspiration in their lives. So that's next on the docket. And, who knows, maybe I'll make it out to the Olympics this year and go see some of my friends still competing in that. And Paris couldn't come soon enough. That's my favorite time of year.
Amazing. And where can our listeners find you?
Anywhere on social media. You can go to my website, jonkovachjr.com. I reply and everything. So if you send me a message or a DM, I'll eventually figure it out and find you. But everything you can get to is at jonkovachjr.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jon, for coming on today and sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Lauren.